The following episode contains mature themes, explicit language, and adult content. It is intended for audiences 18 and older. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
Welcome to Straight from the Muzzle, folks, where we're anything but straight. My name is Space.
And I'm Paradox.
And I'm Ruby.
And welcome to our episode, which I almost fudged. What is our episode about today, Ruby?
Our episode today is called Let's Get Knotty. It's an episode about kinks and fetishes.
Yay!
Yay!
And for once, I'm brought on here as the expert.
We're all three very excited for this episode because it's something that we all love. So we've been talking a lot before we actually started recording. So hopefully we don't run out of gas.
No, I don't think that'll. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, no, that's rare.
You and I have gone hours. We're fine.
Oh yeah. Easy. I mean, we could easily, honestly, if I were to join you on a stream, you and I could probably just talk. So
yeah.
But why don't we go over what a kink well, actually, hold on. Before we do this. So this is like our second episode for the Pride month of things. I can't think right now. There's so much going on in my head. And so I'm trying to remember who suggested this idea. Was it one of you?
It wasn't me. I just jumped in when I heard it.
I think it was my idea.
Yeah, okay. I think it was yours. And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Why not? I mean, we've never done it before. I remember
what sparked it because I think we were talking about the BDSM/kink test that's online.
That's right. That's right.
And we have that linked in our notes.
Yes.
Yay. So I thought, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. We'll get to talk about what our kinks are and what our fetishes are. But before we can do that, we need to define. Sorry, I'm struggling so hard right now. We need to define the difference between kink and fetish. And the funny thing is when Paradox and I were kind of creating these, like, first part of the notes, he was looking at a website, and then I was looking at a website, and apparently it was the same website called Poosh. It's a Poosh.
I'm Poosh.
Poosh.
Which
Stop being
reminded
such
me
a
of the old
poosh.
lady that's like sitting in front of her granddaughter about to give birth, and she's like, "Now poosh," and she's like, "I can't." She's like, "I said poosh."
My name's Edna Poosh. Anyways, so according to their website, a kink is a broad term used to describe a vast array of sexual activities, fantasies, or desires that exist outside the conventional expressions of adult sexuality. But then again, who says what is conventional and what is not? So what would be a kink? Throw it out.
Let's see. Rope.
A knot.
One of my favorites.
Just kidding. Get it? Because, knots are kinks in the rope.
Oh, I love getting naughty.
Come on.
I drew a blank. Oh my god. I don't know if that would be a fetish or a
just
kink.
Go look at my pictures.
I guess it's true.
Yeah, I'm going to just do this real quick. Wow, my voice got really low there for a second.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
Kool-Aid man.
Let's do. Oh, yeah. List of kinks. Okay, so a list of kinks. Hopefully, Crow will edit out all that dead space. Voyeurism, which is a really interesting concept. Bondage, impact play. I don't know what cuckolding is.
Let's see if I can describe that in the easiest terms. That is basically... I'm trying to think of how to say it gently. Basically, you know that chair that's in every hotel room?
Yeah.
Okay. Husband lays there, and wife and her partner enjoy while he watches, and generally the person he's watching is well more endowed than he is.
I thought that was voyeurism.
No, it's a different form. There's a little bit more of a humiliation edge to it, but that chair is legitimately by every one of my friends called the cuck chair.
That's funny.
Like orgasm control, wax play, anal degradation, spanking. I gather is Ruby's personal favorite.
The fuck is this one?
Pet play, primal play.
Okay, I don't like this one.
A breeding kink is very popular in the furry fandom.
Yeah.
This one's also really popular in the fandom, but you wouldn't find it by this particular name. It's agalmatophilia. Agalmatophilia. Basically, it's fat fetishism. So fat kinking. I can't tell you how many people, like friends wise, just come up and just like hug my belly, and it's like, get off me! I'm not into that. Like, what is your problem? I'm not into that. It's not my thing. But some people really like it, and I'm just, it's
in all odds, if you're listening and trying to figure out this list, if you can say there's a drop down on Fur Affinity for that and it fits, it's most likely a kink.
Oh God, I mean, think about the drop downs on Fur Affinity. I should go look at the drop downs on Fur Affinity.
To completely steal a joke from Uncle Kage.
Let's see.
I haven't watched Uncle Kage in forever. I need to get back into watching him.
Browse.
Yeah.
Let's see. Categories.
I know that Two Griffin is pretty much irrelevant now.
I try so hard not to say that name.
Okay. Ooh. Types.
Okay.
Types. Okay. Specialties. Bondage. Digimon is a kink.
What?
Fursuiting. Hypnosis. Gore. Inflation. Oh, My
yeah.
Little Pony.
Friendship is horny.
Water sports. And no, we're not talking about surfing.
We're not talking about surfing or skiing, waterboarding. No.
Actually, that last one is.
Well, yes, but also no. So yes and no, depending on the term that you're, explaining.
Yeah, but that last one technically falls under that category.
No, you're right.
Yeah. There's fire play, sensation play, wax play, which we've said, ice play, temperature play, food play. That one's a weird one. And I'm actually naming these off the top of my head.
I think food play would be interesting because, like, imagine, I guess, say like you have like a bowl of strawberries, okay, and you're feeding one of the strawberries to your partner as they're climaxing. It'd be an interesting sensation play. Eating a strawberry.
I'm more describing, pushing each other into cake. Literally.
This is true. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It reminds me of a video called Cake Farts.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm not exaggerating because I have a very close friend that loves this clown play.
I am not into that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of clowns. It's just clowns are so.
Oh my God. What's that one clown? I forget. Oh my God. No. There's this one clown. What the fuck is her name? Oh my God.
Chance?
No.
Chance the Rapper.
Harley Quinn.
No.
I love Harley Quinn.
She does like scare things during Halloween, and she's fucking phenomenal. And I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Are you talking about the one that like works
like
at
tire
an amusement
shows?
Park? Oh yeah, that one.
Yours.
I think she works at like Six Flags or something.
Something like that. Bobbins. No. Yes.
Well, there is, if you look up Chance the Clown, she's actually the Universal Studios version and the original of the two, I think.
I love Bobbins. I'm not into clowns, but 10 out of 10 would do Bobbins. That's a pretty sexy ass clown.
And then and then there's some really extreme plays like needle play. That one is like my one limit.
Oh my God. Where was this when I was creating the notes? Jeez. Glamour magazine, oddly enough, just posted Kinks and Fetishes, an A to Z guide in May of this year.
Are we actually an episode or just back to chatting? Because we probably need to let Crow know.
Oh, yes. So, okay. So,
you could probably keep.
So now we know what kinks are. Let's go over fetishes.
Yeah.
A fetish is something that is objectified and used for someone's sexual pleasure. For instance, if someone likes fursuit sex and needs it for sexual pleasure, they might fantasize about fursuit sex or having fursuits in their sexual experience, particularly if they want to experience an orgasm. So it's kind of like taking the kink and then a little bit further beyond that.
Yeah.
So for me, I have more, I guess you could say, of a fetish for certain things because I can't get where I need to get without thinking or participating in it. but I wouldn't say it's a kink per se. So
Where most of mine fall in the kink category.
like, and I like both of them, but I guess if we're looking at like categorizing them, I think I probably fall more into fetish than I do into like kink. So in summary, kink is a term used to describe an incredibly wide range of sexual activities, whereas a fetish is actually the tendency to fixate on a very specific object of desire or experience. A kink can enhance a sexual encounter for the participants. However, they're also capable of being gratified without kink play. So they both kind of work hand in hand with each other and then sometimes separately. But that's just kind of like a base of what it is between the two of those. If you want to like Google more, you can just Google and like type in like list of kinks or list of fetishes, things of that nature, and you can kind of explore that way if you want to. Anything before we move on to the next thing?
I do want to add one thing, because I know when we describe kink and fetish, we use the word sex a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Kink in any play does not always have to involve sex.
No.
Generally speaking, any scene I have ever been in almost never continues to sex. The scene itself is the thing.
Yeah, and scene play is really interesting. I would say that I'm more into...
It's more of an energy exchange than an actual like sexual gratification thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, for instance, if I were with a partner, I won't use Felix in this instance because I don't want to put him in that position. If I were...
Too easy.
What did you say?
I was about to say... Too easy. I was about to say, what position do you want to put him in?
Missionary. No.
Wow.
The Eiffel Tower. Oh my God. I'm surprised we didn't put Kama Sutra in here. So for me, when it comes to like scene play, I like to wail on someone. I like to add a little bit of sinister kind of like comedic energy to it, but I don't necessarily what you would say get off on it. It's just for me, it's more or less the whole feeling of kind of like being in control, but also kind of like messing around. And that for me is enough. I don't actually need to take it further from that.
No. I even just like partner isn't into pain, but loves sensation. I think our record, and she put your thumb down and thumbs up if I get the answer right. I think our record is a 3-hour stream, our 3-hour scene. 2-hour scene, and we didn't register what we were doing. We finished, looked at the clock, and went, "Oh shit, we've been going for 2 hours." I've done the same in impact plays where you lose reality. You don't even know time has passed.
Yeah, and sometimes in scenes, and we're not saying this is for everyone, other things are involved as well. And if I have to further spell it out, yes, sometimes drugs are involved. I am not condoning that you do this. I would say stay away from that.
I'm going to 100% say if you are a beginner, or even if you are someone who has done scenes and has been had a substance in your system, don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
Period.
It's not,
because you will, between needing to have your faculties about you to control what's going on and be able to consent to things that are technically not legal.
Yeah.
You cannot mix the two. It is dangerous beyond the term. Best example I can use is, say you're tied up and you're restrained completely, and then your partner passes out drunk.
What do?
You're now SOL.
You're kind of screwed. And and we'll go over this later on. If you don't have a list of things that your play partner should know, you're kind of screwed in this situation.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to give one little caveat for anytime I'm mentioning play. Understand, by my definition of play, the submissive has all the power in this situation. At no point in time does the dominant, when it starts, has the power, but everything that goes on, start, stop, what happens, the extent, the lengths, all of it belongs to the person who's bottoming. Period.
Interesting. I've not heard that point of view before.
I'm about as close to a long-term bottom as you can get.
I like to switch it up.
Yeah.
And this is why books like 50 Shades of Grey are terrible representation.
Yeah,
Do
that's
not.
that book is bullshit beyond
It is,
bullshit.
yes.
50
Oh
Shades
my
of Grey
God.
are for single or lonely wives who need something to occupy their mind.
The
That
only
is
reason it was popular
all
is
that's
because
for.
he had the only reason that it was popular is because the main male lead was rich and not named Bubba from a trailer park. Completely
God.
different movie.
You know,
If you
and
look at it real closely, it is a Twilight fan fiction with very poorly represented and very poorly written BDSM sex vomited all over the pages, and
Yep.
then it's like, yep, here you go. All the
Yep.
characters' names are changed, but the premises is the same from first book to last. It is bullshit.
Yep.
it is.
And not to mention the side novel where you're going into
Yep.
Christian story that you
That
just
was-
find out he
yeah.
has mommy issues.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yep, it is actually directly stolen from Stephanie Meyer because Stephanie Meyer had full intentions on writing Midnight Sun, which was a bookend or small book series written in Edward's point of view. But then E.L. James was like, "I'm going to swipe that idea," and she wrote it first. That's why Midnight Sun did not release until well after it was supposed to be.
If you want to read 50 Shades of Grey, go read fan fiction of it. I'm sure you'll get way better
100%.
representation in
Yeah.
fan fiction.
Yes.
This is like the one time I'd say, don't read the book. Go off and read someone else's book.
Yeah.
Oh yes, there are plenty.
You
plenty of other-
could. This is coming from the child of the 80s and 90s. You can get more factual information about BDSM and fetishes and kinks from Jerry Springer than you can from 50 Shades of Grey. Period.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've my stepsister watched Jerry Springer. I've seen them, and the information is more factual.
All right.
All right.
So we've
Moving
now
on,
got
sorry.
the basics of things. Now we dive into, well, how do I know what I like? Because it's very easy from a vanilla person to go in and be like, oh my God, I don't really know what it is that I like, what I don't like. And I think the best way to really discover possibilities is to go through this particular test called the BDSM test. Why don't you, Paradox, talk about this real quick?
Yeah, sure. So the BDSM test is a fun and educational little test to determine what kind of kinkster you are. It was founded in 2014, and its main mission is to make a simple and accessible test to help beginning kinky people determine which labels are and aren't suitable for them. And it is a fun experience for everyone, taking it beginners and experts alike. I can't talk, Jesus. I will say I personally have taken it several times over the course, I want to say, of like 6 years or so since like it's been founded, and I've had different, like slightly different results each time. I have record of a result. I think I looked at it like 2019, and the difference between then and literally I think like 2 months ago when I brought up the idea for this episode to space, it was quite different. So your tastes and your, I guess, likes and dislikes do change over time as you learn to, I guess, find yourself and what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. So this honestly, and it's also, I think, gotten more in depth in like its questionnaire. There is an option to have a short version and a long version. I do recommend, if you do take this test, take the long version. It's going to give you a more in-depth answer. Yeah,
it is a list to go through. It's quite extensive.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you don't want to really short yourself on something like this.
For sure.
Now, I was reading like the FAQ with the tests and a couple of things. Like, for instance, one said, my results are incorrect or I'm not happy about them. And so most of the time, this is because you misread a question for that archetype. So other times it's because you have a different idea of what that archetype entails, which is not a problem at all. You know yourself best. You know what makes you happy. So like Paradox, you retook the test a couple of times and you got the results different each time. Also, at the bottom, they do say that they're currently experimenting with individualized questions so that we don't have to bother like kinksters with extreme questions and pure dominance with submissive questions and vice versa. So the test that you take might actually be different than the test that your friend takes, or it might be the same, but they do that so that they can get a more what do you call it? Like a personalized like result for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a good way to kind of get an idea of what you think might be good or might not be good. And you may not even know. Like, you may not even know, like, oh, I don't know if I'd be into impact play. I don't know if I would be interested in this. But it's a good idea to kind of get an idea of what it is that this world entails. And then from there, you can go and Google it. I think this is like the one and only time, like, for an actual episode that I will say freely go out and Google it. Because sometimes, you Google things and bad things come back.
So long as you are 18 and up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, so long as you are 18 and older, Google to your heart's content. If you are a minor, please do not do this. I do not want to get you guys in trouble for whatever may be going on your phone or computer, like house computer search history. So don't do that. Please be safe. Go incognito mode if you must.
Now, I did let me log in because I bet I can log in and look at my results here.
I probably need to take the test. I took it a long time ago, but I've tried too many things to I already know my answers.
So what's really interesting, so you take the test and when you're done, it puts out this result and it goes from like 100% to 0%. And it kind of goes like the most extreme to the not most extreme. And so what's interesting is, so for mine, I took mine on coincidentally 420. But it says that I'm 100% switch. And if you're not sure what a switch is, you can actually click on it. It says the switches like to, switch. So between top or bottom kind of a thing. And then it also says that I am 94% a rope bunny, which is someone who likes to be tied up or restrained.
Oh, yes.
87% I'm a rigger. Riggers like to tie up and restrain their partners using rope or other attributes like chains, cuffs, spreaders, bars, all that fun stuff, whether for sexual enhancement or just for the art and fun of it. For me, it's more or less for like the art and the fun of it. 84% of my result says I'm a dominant. So that's just someone who would like to be in charge. 75% is submissive, which makes sense when it says I'm a switch. And it goes down this, voyeurism, experimentalist, a brat tamer, a brat, a masochist, which, by the way, maybe we should go over BDSM, the acronym, real quick. Do you want to do that, Ruby?
Sure. Let me...
And kind of just describe what BDSM altogether.
No problem. Let me go back to the BDSM test because I was just tinkering around with taking it because they do give the archetypes. Yay, there's what I wanted. BDSM basically breaks down to several. BDSM is an umbrella term for a variety of different practices. BD, bondage and discipline, playing with physical restraints, training, punishment, fun stuff. Dominance and DS. Yeah, dominance and submission, playing with power exchange, service, obedience, things like that. So your pet plays, puppy plays, pony plays, any of those. And then sadism and masochism is playing with pain, degradation, fear. I would dare say that's one of the most extreme forms of it, but I have stories. And yes, the SM part can get pretty brutal. It just depends on the person.
I like a little bit of S&M, but not to the extreme.
Yeah. I'm about mid-range, and that's only because I've seen barbed wire play.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, that's not me.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I'll tell you kind of what I told my partner, not using their name in this one. My partner, when we first saw that scene, it was, oh my God, I don't want to watch this. Until you realize that both people that are involved in it want to be there. It takes on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
It kind of goes from, oh my God, I don't want to watch that. That's kind of gruesome to, that's kind of hot. I don't want to do it, but it's hot.
So I have a question about that. So yeah. I have fantasy, which is where in fantasy thinking, it sounds exciting, but in reality, I don't want to really actually take part of it. Is that a form of voyeurism? If I'm watching someone do it, but I don't actually want to partake in it. It's kind of
I
odd.
mean,
So I was,
sort of by definition, it is. Paradox, what do you think? Because I'm trying to think if it's.
So I think it would be counted as some form of voyeurism, because I mean, if you do not want to take part of it, but like you are turned on by watching it, I think I think that would fall under voyeurism.
Mhm.
So I guess okay, so I'm gonna out myself a little bit, but so
Hun, we
Too
ain't
late.
got to my. We
It's
haven't got to
okay.
my
Late.
negotiation.
oh I
We
know
haven't got to my. We haven't got to my negotiation form yet. Y'all gonna
Oh.
learn everything about my ass tonight.
Hey, that is fine. So like I guess for example, so like you mentioned that sometimes you like to watch like stuff. So admittedly, and it might just be because I'm trans, like female to male, but I find enjoyment in watching like men taking a piss, and I don't know why. I'm like, I don't think I want that on me, but I
so
enjoy
water
watching it.
sports.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. I find some weird enjoyment in it. I'm like, okay.
Well, probably perfect example. When we get to my form, I'll cover this one. It is my major one thing I won't do is needle play. That's using needles to make patterns, draw blood, you puncture. It's a very artistic style of play. It's beautiful when it gets done, and also done right. But I am terrified of needles to the point where if one touches my skin, I risk passing out. And that's
see,
not
I
even
don't know
puncturing
this.
me. That's not even puncturing me. That is if it touches me. I
Not me
risk
stabbing
passing
my
out.
leg every week.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I jab myself with testosterone
Mm-mm.
injections every week. It's not a
Nope.
big deal for me.
If I could only get my HRT in shot form, I wouldn't be transitioning. That is how bad it is. But
Get it in pill form.
oh, I do. That's why I take it.
That's actually
but
not
if-
a bad. I wonder if it's cheaper
but-
that way.
I don't know, but if the only option was to use a needle, I would. You honestly probably would have stopped me from transitioning. But I can watch needle play. I can
Yeah,
watch a needle
same.
play scene. It is some of the most beautiful work, especially if the bottom really enjoys it. Because one of my friends is a needle bottom, and she has the brightest, biggest smile in the world when she's getting worked on. And
Blood is where I draw the
it's
limit,
love.
though. Once I see blood drawn, I'm just like,
as long
I'm
as
done.
but here's the thing: I can only watch needles go into skin during needle play. That's it. It's because I enjoy the art of it. But yeah, it does. There is a voyeur side to it. The more extreme plays, they're fun to watch. Don't get them near me.
So
I like-
I really like tattoo. I'm so sorry, Space.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say
You go.
I really love tattoos. Like I love being tattooed. I don't know if I would consider it like being a turn on, but like now that you mentioned like needle play, it's weird
Pain.
because like I think I probably would, because I kind of like the way that like blood looks, and also like I like the idea of like having a small amount of blood drawn during like a scene like that. I think it'd be kind of cool.
I
know.
have I have 2 tattoos currently.
I have,
But I have to take the same medication I take to get blood drawn, which is basically the highest anxiety medication you can take. I have to take it and basically have to go, here's what I want. I'm about to basically put myself into a comatose state. Enjoy.
I see. I'm the opposite. When I go into the phlebotomist, which I probably have to go in this week and get some done anyways, they're always just like, which arm? And I'm like, I don't really care. Go for it. And they're like, you're going to watch it? I'm like, hell yeah. And I'm sorry, Ruby, this is going to make you like, oh, but my favorite part is when they jab it in there and then they flip the thing and it just gushes into the vial. And I'm just like, yeah, it's so cool looking. I love it. Oh man.
I almost muted you right there.
Oh my
It's
god.
so good. But here's the thing. When it comes to play, even in a scene, I don't mind watching needle play, but I don't like the whole part of blood. And the blood part comes from more for me being a germaphobe.
Where did
kind
I
of
just
thing.
Oh, I just inserted that in a weird area. Let me fix that.
That's what he said. But for me, it's the fact that it's bleeding. I'm hoping it's a sanitary scene. I'm hoping that every precaution is being taken place, because you're not supposed to mix blood with blood, like
No.
other people's blood together. And that worries me. And I wonder, are people really understanding what they're getting into here?
Note that I said if the person knows what they're doing.
If they know what they're doing. Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of your needle players and your needle tops are nurses. So they know damn well what they're doing.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a friend on FetLife, and one of his puppies
Paradox, if you go down all the way at the bottom, you'll see my tattoo.
Is a phlebotomist, and they're also a nurse tech, so they know what they're doing. I actually asked because I'm like, is that even like?
Ooh, I like it.
Because they were doing some sort of like procedure, like blood drawing, and I'm like, did you like hire someone to come and do things? He's like, no. You know, one of my subs is like a nurse tech, and so they know how to do this. So we did like a very like clean, you know, professional like scene. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was actually genuinely worried. I'm like, oh my God. So.
And then you have to take into, like, you say don't mix blood and blood. Don't. You have things like bloodborne diseases and things you have to worry about.
Exactly.
But there is a thing called basically fluid bonded. There are things that I will do with play partners that I've had long term that I will only do with them because I know essentially I know where they've been.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So if you have, of course, needles for needle play is only a one-time use. You puncture, pull it out, throw it out, or a sharps box. And a lot of places, venues and stuff have sharp boxes specifically for needle play.
Let me just explain real quick. The reason why it's a single-use needle is because the needle itself is very delicate. Once it already punctures through the skin, no matter even if it's paper, skin, or whatever, it dulls the tip. So when you go to repuncture again with it, it could actually cause more damage to the skin than what you're actually seeing, which is why they're supposed to be single use and then toss them. Go ahead.
Yeah. And that includes with like toys. A few of mine, like, as y'all have heard us talk about, we'll find some way to fucking show this thing, like,
the paddle
to everybody. It's my mascot for my channel. I have a resin paddle with D20s in it. This thing, as long as I wipe it with an alcohol wipe, anybody and their mother can use it.
Everybody and their mother.
I don't know. Is it mommy play? Is it actual mother? Who knows? Not my problem. Not my kink. Not my problem. But it's plastic. It can be wiped off. It can be cleaned and sterilized. When you get into things like wood, leather,
neoprene,
yeah, they can't be cleaned. Well, technically those can be thrown in the washing machine, but leather is one of those weird ones.
Neoprene's a weird one too because it's got so much. It's so porous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, the outside of neoprene isn't, but once you break it, then it's kind of like memory foam almost.
Yeah,
but like I have several toys that are leather based. They are fluid bonded to me because they have drawn blood on me. And while I have nothing in my system that could cause anybody any harm, I don't want someone to use that toy, get blood on it, and then it gets transferred to me.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and wood, the same reason why you don't cut fish and meat on a wooden cutting board, same reason. It absorbs things and it's impossible to get it out. Toys that are plastic, silicone, anything that can be thrown into the dishwasher is okay. But you do have to be very, very, very careful with making sure you don't cross-contaminate between people.
The other thing, too, with toys, so if you're going to go play with toys, go for it. I mean, that's the best way to experiment, really, is to kind of find out what it is that you do and don't like. But be aware that some toy materials do not do well with certain lubes. In fact, they will actually degrade them. So you need to do your homework. I'm trying to remember silicone. I'm going to pull this up.
Well, and to go into like thing we talked about beginners, this is like you say, go to Google. It's probably the one time we'll say it. This will be one of the few times I will say, if you want to try things, go to Spencer's, go back to their BDSM section and pick something. Most of it is cheap and you're probably only going to use it a handful of times, but it's safe. If you want to try bondage, don't start with rope, start with handcuffs. They're easier to get out of and less likely to cut circulation off.
Yeah. Oh, that's also something too. So in all the scenes that, you know, we may talk about, safety is obviously at the very top. It should always be at the very top. Because while scene play is fun, you also need to make sure that it is a safe environment and a safe setup. Because if something does go wrong,
granted, it will go wrong, and then there could be problems.
And there's multiple acronyms for this and multiple ways of saying it, but there it is. I just found the word. You have things called RAC, which is risk aware consensual kink, or SSC, which is safe, sane, and consensual.
Yep.
Safe is in all of those. RAC, the risk aware consensual kink, that's basically saying the kink you're about to participate in, you understand the risks involved. If I consent to being suspended with rope, I know the risks. I know I risk falling. I risk circulation getting cut off. I risk passing out. But I know what those are.
I've done some rope play where I've been bound with my hands and my feet, but I always communicate with the player, letting them know, hey, my hands are starting to get a little tingly, and they'll loosen it up. But that's something you definitely have to also have is communication as well. Speaking of rope play, another way of saying rope play is shibari. So,
I love shibari.
but it's a type of rope play. It's it's not direct rope play. It's like a branch, and shibari is like that branch.
I put shibari more in the artistic form where it involves, there's no
Sensual.
real, it involves a lot of aesthetic beauty, where suspension and a lot of your rope harnesses and ties are purely functional.
It's really cool to watch.
They're meant to bond one part of one body part to another and make sure they don't separate.
It's so cool. Even if like you're not into like rope play or shibari, even just like YouTubing a video, it's so cool to see all the different ties and the positions that you can put someone in, and it still is safe for the body itself. It's really unique. And for those, I'm hoping y'all are 18 plus listening to this, there's a lot of conventions that there's a group of people that go around who teach shibari, and they also teach BDSM as well, like the basics. So if you're going to a convention soon and you want to see if someone's doing something, they're usually called after dark like panels. Look for those. They're a little bit later on in the night, but they're 100% worth it because they do show some really cool things. They go over some basics, and you might learn something about yourself. So,
yep.
But now that we've gone into like some depth of things that we like and whatnots, once you've kind of like looked over the BDSM test, and you're thinking, oh, okay, this is interesting. That's interesting. Oh, I'm not really into that. There are some other things you can do as well to further broaden your horizons. And these are sites that you can go to. So one site that I'm most familiar with, that I am probably the most active on, is FetLife, which is just like, for me, I think the website itself is like worldwide, pretty much. Everyone's on it as far as like kink and fetish and learning and all that sorts of stuff.
It's sexy Facebook.
Yeah, it is. It's sexy Facebook. Very much so. It has groups. It's got things you're interested in. It's got
events. You can find local events, and they're what they're generally called if you're on FetLife and you're trying to find an event to meet people. They're called munches.
Yeah, munches. That's what they are. They got a whole variety of things. So if I go to mine right now, I've got like groups, events, places.
So what was that page again?
Fetlife.com.
It's time to get your personal one.
I see what you're trying to do.
I've tried looking. I have been unsuccessful.
For you two, I shall share. For the rest of you, I dare you to find me. So shouldn't be that hard.
I'll friend you, Space.
All right.
Well, here, if y'all want to see mine, I'm putting it at the bottom.
Oh shit! I honestly, as soon as Space told me about it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make one. So I did.
It's really cool. So if I go to like one of my friends' accounts, I won't say who they are, but they have an about section. They kind of talk a little bit about themselves, what it is that they're into. Off to the left-hand side, it does show that they're members of specific groups. And then it also goes over like fetishes. You can like type these little like, they're basically hashtags in there. And then it goes over things like, for right now, one says multiple orgasms as a form of punishment, tied up all night, being bound and gagged for, I don't even know what that one says. Oh, for a weekend. There's all these, there's like thousands upon thousands of tags that you can use. And then by clicking on those, you can find people that have similar interests. So it's a really cool website. I highly recommend it. You don't have to fully be into the scene quite yet, but it's a good way to kind of experiment and then, at the same time, remain anonymous, which is quite nice.
Mm-hmm. And just a heads up to any of our trans listeners are in either direction, are the ladies, you're gonna get weirdos, period.
Oh my God.
That's it. You're just going to. Creepers, chasers, just go down the list. You're gonna get them.
Say like once a month.
FetLife has a really nice block button, so there, you use it.
The other really cool thing that I like about FetLife is it's actually run by a really good, well done company. If you ever have a problem, if you come across something that you think shouldn't actually be there, or someone might be creeping you out or harassing you, send them a message. They have dedicated teams that go through every single complaint and will flag them or ban them if they need to. Communication on the website is top notch. So it's amazing. And I think the cool thing, I mean, it's a little weird, it's a little frustrating for me, but I get where they're coming from, is that they want to make it so that everyone is welcome in there. So if you're searching for like videos, specifically like guy videos or female videos or trans videos, whatever it is, it won't pull up a specific type. They want to do that so that it's across the board. Everyone is in the mix. And it kind of bugs me because when I'm going and searching for something and I'm gay, I want to look for gay things. All I see like are videos of women and it's like, oh, well, we're all the men. So, I have to actually go and search through the whole list and I may find something. So the search is a little weird, but overall, it's a really good website. I highly recommend it. There is something, though, you need to know is in order to watch videos, you do need to have not necessarily a subscription, but you can donate to them. I usually do it's like $30 for 6 months. And then that goes towards basically their whole thingamajig and all that jazz. So the next one I'm on, is anyone on this one?
Nope. I'm not on the next two. I'm not on the other two.
So the next one is called Recon. Recon is a location-based online dating application and service specifically for gay men interested in fetish and kink. So this one's interesting. I don't use it as often, but I still have an active account. So if I go on to it, yes, I'm 18 years and older. It always asks me. Apparently, I forgot my password. Awesome. So I have to figure out what my password is. But essentially, you can track down, you can level it down to maybe you're looking for people in your area. You can search by, zip code, by state, by city, by interest, distance from me to you. And then it also has, it's kind of like a pocket version of FetLife, but more geared towards the gay community, like the male gay community. I have seen a few women on there, but it's very few and far between. So if you're looking for something very specific and, just for gays, then this would be a really good website for you. I just use it to kind of contact certain people that are close, locally, but I don't actually use it for more than anything outside that realm. For everything else, FetLife. So, The next one is called BDSMLR. This one's kind of an odd one. It's like if you took Tumblr and kind of FetLife and you threw it together. That's what it is. I wouldn't say it's the best option out there, but it's definitely an option. I've played on it a few times, but it does have one of those pay programs. So the fact that it's, in order to really fully utilize the whole website, you have to pay for it. I don't really like that. Whereas on FetLife, you do have that option, but for the most part, the whole website's functional even if you don't pay. So it's still a free service. Recon also has that kind of a thing where, if you want to send someone a message or you want to look at their pictures, you have to pay. It's only $10 a month though. So it's really not that big of a deal. But if it's not something that's in your purview, I wouldn't really worry about it. So yeah, those are some sites that you can kind of go into and look at. For everything else, as far as like niche kinks go, you can find like forums and groups, websites that are very specific to what it is that you're looking for. I have very specific interests, like fetishes that I like. And so I know that if I want to find specific things, I have to go to a specific forum, which coincidentally is a little frustrating because their website went down. So now I'm stuck on this other forum that's more of like a European one. It's all in European. So I can't even read it. I have to freaking Google translate the whole website, but whatever.
First world kinky problems.
It's seriously, it really is. I get most of what I need from like FetLife, Twitter's another. Oh yeah, Twitter. So Twitter's a really good option.
Obviously, that's where you take a grain of salt of the weirdos are a little more rampant. They have a lot more freedom and less reason to stop them. So beware.
All right. So now that we've kind of gone over all of the fun stuff, there's something that's incredibly important when we talk about safety and scene play is knowing the ground rules, knowing when to say no, knowing, and those particular phrases, just saying no probably is not going to cut it. There's something called safe words.
This will probably be the only situation where no doesn't always mean no.
Yeah, it could mean other things.
And this is where I kind of want to put a little disclaimer. If you're ever observing a scene and the bottom is screaming, no, stop, dear God, anything, leave them alone.
Yeah.
Because odds are they're saying that because that's what they want to say. It is until they use their safe word. If they all of a sudden out of nowhere say asparagus, then you know something's wrong.
That's what and it's kind of funny that we use a safe word on our podcast, pickle, but it is essentially the same thing as the situation you would put yourself in a scene play. It means stop and then reassess. So there are different varieties of safe words for different things, but I'm going to let Ruby take it away because Ruby has a really cool negotiation form that would be a really good example as to what to expect in scene play. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take over.
Well, just for the basic, I have my own negotiation form that I kind of formed myself, but that comes from 10, 15 years of doing this. You can Google BDSM checklists or BDSM negotiation forms. And one of my favorites pulls up a 7-page list of every basic activity you can come up with. And it tells you if you've tried it or not, how interested you are on it, how far you want to go. So you can easily tell your top, bottom, play partner, however you want to say it, what you want, at least in a basic.
I'm looking at this checklist. It's actually kind of cool.
Oh, it's very extensive. The longer it is, the better. I've heard of some that are literally 50 to 75 pages each.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Wow.
That's almost like a contract.
Basically, that's what it is. Their negotiation forms are basically streamlining. Negotiation in play, in BDSM play, is the bottom it's usually the bottom telling the top what I like, what I don't like, what I will let you do to me, what you cannot do to me, when I want to stop, and how I'm going to tell you it's stopping. This is why I said earlier that the bottom does indeed hold most of the power. We're the ones that set our limits. We're the ones who say, this is what I want, and you're not doing anything else.
Right.
Generally, if you're a beginner, make sure you have someone with you, because if you don't have someone there to check in on you, even to the extent of what's called a safe call, which is if I don't call you by this amount of time and say this word, call the police, here's where I'm at.
Yep.
I have the experience where I know how to pick my tops. Sadly, my favorite play partners moved away, so I have not actually bottomed in a scene in a very long time. but you can Google basic ones, and it's pretty straightforward. It covers everything. Like the one I'm looking at right now has bondage, which is different ways of restraining you, bodily fluids, which, God, if you're a beginner, skip that whole part.
Yeah, that's
you're gonna
probably
put,
a part.
if you're a beginner, that entire part should just be no. Fetishes, humiliation, that's one I don't usually play with.
Not for me.
Impact, this is a pretty decent list of, caning, slapping, punching, kicking, spanking, riding crops, hairbrushes, hand. And yes, it's really kind of funny that they add, in all of this, they add hand, because you might not want the person touching you.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Basic. I mean, you could be a demo bottom, which I'll explain that one later. You could be just one of your play partners is teaching using you, and you don't want the new person that they're teaching to touch you. Non-monogamy, I'd skip that one too.
Marking's a good one.
Yeah, marking, that's an extreme one.
You'll find
I don't do any of those.
Sorry, I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
You'll find a lot if you go onto like people's profiles. You'll see at the bottom they'll always say, "Do not like" or dislike certain things, and it's usually always marking, branding, scars, blood.
Yep,
and then a few other things I won't say. So,
but there's different impacts. On the rare events, I do top. I have a play style, and it was basically formed by my play partners as me as a bottom, called sensually sadistic. So my play style is very touchy-feely, very sensual, and then out of nowhere you're getting bitten. Yeah, it's in scenes I'm in usually last hours because they don't require much. They're designed to go long. But my negotiation form, this is a very basic one. It has my basic information, gender, that I am she, her. I personally mark that I'm transgender because, some people might not be okay with that. That's fine. Name, nicknames I like to go by when I'm in play. I usually go by the nickname of Puppy. I absolutely adore it. I personally cover what I want done with my genitals because, again, I'm transgender. I honestly want it left alone. I don't want it involved in anything. As I've said before, BDSM and sex don't mix. So just ignore it. Don't touch it. Just leave it be. Impact play, I cover paddles, floggers, my dragon tail, which is like my favorite toy in the world, whips, canes, hands, and fists. And I also add other, which is, you have one I haven't seen yet. Let's try it.
That's where I'm at. Like I always have like that.
I'll try anything twice. First to make sure I like it. Second to make sure I did it right.
Interesting. Okay.
Physical contact, and for me generally my tops are repeat, so I don't mind any of these, but kissing, rubbing, biting, massage, spanking, hugs, hair pulling, nothing is hotter than those. It goes into what my needs are, what I allow, and that is where I want you to hit me, touch me, bite me, what you can do to me. Like my scenes literally can take me down to no clothes at all. I don't care. I have no shame to speak of. But then I also have, and usually it's your nose, but I say no nose because I'm just being silly. Needle, don't want anything puncturing my skin unless it's an oopsie with an impact toy. Cannot have the inside of my thighs touch. This is where you say anything.
Interesting.
If you have a fear, if you have a phobia, which I put on here, needles. If you have a fear of fire, trust me, put it there. Any phobias you have. If you're prone to anxiety attacks, if you're prone to seizures, if you're prone to passing out, put that in there. Oh, I need to update mine actually because I'm not on spironolactone anymore. I use my safe words, which I use the basic, which is the stop light. Green is good, yellow, slow down, red, stop everything.
But you have one other one.
Which one?
Asparagus.
Well, asparagus is in our community a universal. That it's the house safe word of something has happened. We've had to call an ambulance. We've had the police show up. Something that is out of the power that everything at the event needs to stop. The safe word asparagus is used. And it means everybody stop what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
We don't care what you're doing. Stop it.
You just stop.
Yeah. And don't talk to anybody. I really need to update these. But then also I go into my medical stuff because, again, I'm trans. So I'm still discovering what this body does. I have ADHD and bipolar. I've had my gallbladder removed, which might not seem like much, but I have scars on me and we need to make sure that things happen. I have frequent migraines. So that's listed there because that could come up. Needle phobia, period. Don't ever.
Yeah.
And then I go into what's called aftercare. It's what you need to calm down with. BDSM scenes are some of the most emotionally charged experiences a human being can go through. It affects you big time. I've had complete breakdowns before afterwards. I've had them days after. It's called subdrop or just drop. It's where you go from your highest high and you basically go back down to normal life, and you're emotional. Everything's affecting you. You're on like the most extreme form of PMS on the planet Earth. And generally everyone has, and aftercare is one of those things you have to learn what calms you down. Mine is plushies, cuddles, and being treated like a puppy. Because it's what I fucking am. And I do note in here that I don't know what this body does because it is very new. I haven't played very much since transitioning, so I don't know what my pain tolerances are anymore. So, time to learn. There was one I wanted to cover, and this comes from
personal experience.
Yes. I have one of my former play partners, she was actually my first. She was the first to tie me up. She was the first to do a wax play scene, first to do impact on me. She actually taught my partner how to do wax play on me. And oh my God, they fucked me up so bad because there's things that wax does that is weird.
Yeah.
But
it burns.
it doesn't really burn, but if you have someone run a blade underneath the wax and you're blindfolded, your mind doesn't differentiate the fact that there's wax there.
Oh,
it is one of the
sensory wise, it actually feels like a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it felt like they were gutting me, and I would have flipped out. It is one of the. I was tied down and blindfolded. I couldn't do anything, but I read it out. The minute I did, they unblindfolded me and let me see that I was safe. I trust.
I mean, it sounds kind of cool, but
it is. Oh, don't make the fear of it was temporary. The afterwards was incredible. But I trust, but again, this is one of those that it fucked with me the most because I trusted this play partner 100% without question. I trust her with my well-being because that's literally what it is. And my partner was there and I trust her without question. So something was wrong. So I read it out, which is, I use my safe word, which I'm going to just always call it reading out because my safe word is read. I wish I could get one more good scene in with my old play partner because I miss it. I've yet to find someone who matches her. I'm going to start working with my partner to teach her my play style because my play style matches the play style I like used on me. And then there is a form of bottoming that I've done. We were talking about it earlier when we were in the middle of a break. It's called, I don't have it listed on my negotiation form, and you're probably not going to find it listed anywhere. It's called demo bottoming.
Is it where you try on different people?
No. If you're in an education setting, in this area, Munches, we had education on how to do things. So you were demo bottoming of the person who's teaching the technique. You're the one they're teaching on.
Or
if for us, for this community, we had auctions where people would donate toys, would donate impact toys and stuff, and we would auction them off. And nothing sells an impact toy better than having it slap against some bottom's ass and then scream and cuss bloody murder. I loved it. But demo bottoming is a very unique situation because
you're on display.
There is no beginning negotiation. There is no warm-up. There is no cool down. There is no aftercare. You are put up on there and you are beaten senseless for the amount of time that you're up there. It is something I would never recommend to a beginner. I've had the drop of doing demo bottoming come on days later, to where I basically had to call my play partner at the time and go, I need to come over because I just need someone to let me know that I'm okay. And I went over to their house and literally just sat on the couch while they watched TV getting petted like I was a dog. Amazing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But demo bottoming is an extreme form where you're basically an object. It's fun, but it's not for everybody.
To be objectified is a really interesting sensation.
Yes, it is.
To point out real quick, if you're thinking of doing something like this, or just in general in a scene, you have to be of sound of mind.
Yes.
And what I mean by sound of mind is you can't be going through some sort of like depression break or mental issues, your psychosis. Like, you can't have any of that going on, because if you do, it messes with you and it'll mess with the scene and it'll make it harder for you to differentiate. Did I actually enjoy that, or was I actually scared of that? And you shouldn't have to have that.
And this is why at the beginning I said substances, alcohol, drugs, keep them as far away as possible, because you could easily, I use the example because it is the most dangerous one, of you could be tied down completely. Your partner's drunk, passes out, hits their head. They're laying there helpless and unconscious, and you're fucked because you can't move.
Well, and the other thing too, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, is that it does things to the body. So it may dull the sense of pain, and you may not actually register that what was just happening to you is actually painful, but you're not realizing it. And not being able to realize that, and then you realize later on you have a welt and it's painful, that's a problem.
Oh, but come on, those welts are fun, because then you get to walk in, people walk up to you and go, does it hurt when I poke it? And it just pokes that spot.
Oh, I've had people do that.
I love it. You have no idea. Does it? We have terms in our community. It is the does it hurt if I poke it, and a phrase called SDS. Same damn spot.
Oh my God.
And you do not have to hit hard. You could have the softest, most non-threatening toy, and if you can hit the same spot repeatedly, it will start hurting. No matter what.
I've had scene plays where people would just wail on me on like the one area, and then I would go back and they're like, you really responded well to that side. Let's keep going. I'm like, or not.
Well, yeah, the fun,
maybe somewhere else.
The fun noises are great. Like people love watching my partner and I almost fucked up there. My partner and I do our sensation play scenes. Partner loving being the bottom, and I have an entire case of just things that scratch, are soft, nothing impacting, nothing truly painful. Yeah. Though I will try. She squeaks when she's being tickled. And everyone loves it. I love it. So I'm probably getting flicked off if they're still awake. Yep, there it is. Got the middle finger. But BDSM and play and scenes don't have to be about pain. And also don't let anybody tell you that you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
My sensation plays scenes when I'm topping, I'm what's called a service top. I get nothing out of dominating and being a top. But if it requires that my partner wants it done, hell, I'll do it. Sure. But sensation play is literally is really, really gentle. But it has the same effect. It's the one where we went 2 hours without registering that time had passed. They're incredible. I've had impact play scenes go an hour and a half, because if you're able to balance the pain and the sensual portion, it can go on indefinitely.
Right.
It's incredible. And also, at least for me, play does not involve sex. think I've said it before. It's just a thing. Play and BDSM for me is an energy transfer, is an energy sharing, and that's what I get out of it. If you get sex out of it, go for it. There's very few wrong ways to do it as long as everyone's on board. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover, and I think I got it all.
So I have questions for all of us.
Ooh, ask away.
Before we go into the fun types of kinks and stuff that are in the fandom, what are y'all interested in, into?
I was going to say, I think we've got a lot of Ruby's interest.
We got Ruby's. You don't have
impact,
pretty dead. Yeah.
Impact, rope, wax, fire, suspension. Sensation's fun, just not as completely. And pet play, which is being treated like a dog.
I'll go into mine. No one knows. I keep mine very.
I knew you were. I know you're into vor. We know it. We just knew it.
No, not that. No. So my interest stems all the way back since I was a kid. I'm not sure why, but it always has been. And so for me, it's a form of bondage, but I don't see it as bondage. So I am into a very niche category of medical play. Medical play being, I really like, I have a hard time saying it because as I was a kid, when I would try to do things, I was always chastised and told this is a bad thing. So in my mind, it's still considered a bad thing, even though I know it's not. It's weird. Parents mess you up sometimes. So yeah, I really like braces, not dental braces. We're talking like wrist braces, boots, like the kind that you have to wear if you get a fracture. And I also really like cast play. So like arm cast, leg cast, body cast, whether it's plaster, fiberglass, polyester. I'm not into mummification. I really don't see. I mean, I see the art of it. It's not my thing. And I love it. So for me, it's very on the fetish side. For me, I need that to be gratified. And I only like seeing it on men. I don't enjoy seeing it on women. That's a complete turnoff for me.
And honestly, all of my play partners at every time have always been female identifying. That's the energy I'm drawn to. It fits.
The energy I'm drawn to is men, and it's just
men in tights.
No, gross. No, thank you. But that whole scene for me, that is my primary fetish. It has always been there at the forefront. I have other things I like too. I won't necessarily share the one, but the one thing I really do like in a scene, and I focus on this a lot, is I don't like seeing your face. It sounds weird, but I really like hoods and masks, helmets, you name it. Like I love seeing a full-on biker. Now, when I say biker, I don't mean a Harley biker. I'm talking crotch rocket bikers, and it's very specific to the brand. I like Dainese, which is the jumpsuit that they wear, and then the motorcycle boots and the gloves, and then they've got their helmet on, and seeing that really makes me excited. And it's I don't want to see who you are, but I want you to play with me with everything you've got, and I just want to go for it. That gets me excited. I also like hazmat gear. It's really interesting. I don't necessarily want to wear it because it gets all sweaty, but I don't mind watching others wear it. Boots. I love gear. I love military men. Please. I love sports
Why
gear
does
too.
None of this shock me?
Sports gear. Love sports gear. The more gear, the more, So that's the kind of stuff that I'm into, but most people don't know that until now. Now you're going to be like, oh, okay. So when I was saying sometimes you have to go to websites. So for my cast play and stuff, I do have to go to specific websites that actually have forums and stuff that I've been on for 15, 20 years. I've been on them for a while. So I have I guess you could say I have roots in the community, and I've talked with people that I trust that I would participate in this with. My partner, unfortunately, is not into that. So it kind of is a bummer, but it's okay. Because I don't think I would want him to participate in my interest, because that in itself is a turnoff for me. I like it being that it's mine, and that's my special kind of a thing. So there you go. There's the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. Well, see, I understand the portion of like you not wanting your life partner, husband, wife, anybody to be your top. It's never been something that my partner and I have ever like explicitly. Neither of us really care. We play with each other no matter what. But when they were in college and not near the home nearby, as I stated, my first play partner, I had her, and there was never anything more than just, I am their toy to wail on. And then we would play board games, because that's what you fucking do.
That's amazing.
All right, it's your turn.
Paradox. I know, it's my turn. So here's my main problem is that like I want to do most of the things on my Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Pickle that whole part out. Jesus. So my main problem is that I want to do all these things on my list, but like I've never had the experience, and I don't know anybody like close enough in my area, nor do I trust anybody enough like in my area to like, I guess, experience these things. And that's the main thing, is like trust and safety and like whatnot, because a lot of these things, like just BDSM in general, and like most kinks and fetishes, like you need to have somebody to trust. But anyway, so like for example, I'm really into the idea of like rope and being like in suspension or shibari. I love shibari. I think it's so cool. Some things that I do engage with
shibari with LED rope would be really cool.
Oh, that would be so cool. And I love glow in the dark.
So like, that would be God. Awesome.
Yes, that would be perfect for me, because like I said, I love glow in the dark shit. Orgasm control, forced orgasms. I'm going down a list so I don't forget anything. I am into the idea of wax play, because I loved dipping my little fingies into some hot wax as a teenager, and I'm like, ooh, this is neat. So I am into the idea of primal play, the whole biting, scratching, and pursuit/chase, growling, wrestling. I love that. I am actually, I think I would consider myself to be a pet, because as a child, I loved being like pretending to be a dog, and I'm actually getting back into that.
Because are you going to become a puppy?
Yes. Oh my God.
I love puppies.
Yes. I love the pup community. I'm trying to dip my little toes in there, or dip my paws in there, if you will. I love it. I think the pups are so freaking cute, and I want to get more into that. I actually purchased a half muzzle, so it's not a full hood. It's actually yes. Thank you. I'm actually going to go to a Pride this upcoming weekend, and I'm going to wear my ears that I got, and I also have the little pup mask, and I'm excited to wear that for Pride. But yeah, like those are like that's one that I'm definitely getting more into, because I would love to be called a good boy and be petted. So yeah.
I went to Pride this last weekend, and we were walking.
How was that?
Oh, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I actually, when I was there, a couple of people from the hospital recognized me. I didn't recognize them. They're like, I know that hair. I know that style. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's really interesting. But we were walking around, and I saw two puppies sitting next to each other on the bench. And I looked at Felix, and I'm like, puppies! Because I get really excited about puppies. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so cute together. And they did their like little like fist thing. And I'm like, oh my God. So like, I kind of like flushed. I was like, oh. I love what the eye holes, or I guess the mask kind of does to the eyes. It's kind of like squishes their eyes in a really interesting way. And I love it when pups wear their glasses with their hoods. Oh my God, please. It's so cute.
But actually covering Paradox, all of the ones you mentioned, and I think my play partner described it best. It's basically masturbating if you're doing it to yourself. But there are rope ties you can do to yourself. There's wax play you can do to yourself. if you want to explore one way or the other. My tip is different wax colors produce different temperatures. Red is the hottest.
Oh,
and be careful with the wax that you play with too. There's specific waxes you're actually supposed to use for this particular play.
Honestly, the cheapest and best one, and we kind of call this to be sacrilegious as well, but the Jesus candles you can get at Walmart, like $1.50.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Make sure they're not scented. That is the key part. Those, they're $1 and they do decent temperature. You can also get paraffin wax and the like spa wax melters, and you can literally ladle that shit on.
Does the scent is it because it can burn with the oils that are in it?
It can cause irritation. You don't know how much they use, where they're using it. You don't know your sensitivity to it. If I were to use it, I'd probably end up with a migraine.
I'll be honest, I would not mind being poured by like a scented cinnamon candle. I know it would probably burn, but the idea of it, sounds amazing.
If you make them yourself, you could probably do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, rope, like Impact is the one that I can't get into, like doing it to yourself. But rope, shibari, basic harnesses, those you can do to yourself. And I linked both of you to one of my favorite rope distributors. Nice. It's called Dyes That Bind. They do pride flag rope dyeing. And I have a set of trans flag. And I'm probably going to buy more at Pride at the end of this month.
I want this flag one. These are so cool.
I know she's local to my area, so I'm definitely buying more when I go to Pride this year. Oh God, she is not only local; she's in my home. She's like a town over. Holy shit!
That's awesome.
And her name is Chaotic Good Girl, and I love her. Okay, love her. But I own this rope, and it's very, very good. It also matters what you use. This stuff is nylon. Don't suspend with it.
Understood. Okay.
Cotton rope.
Is it more constricting?
It slips.
Okay, I can see that.
Jute, hemp, cotton, those are a lot better because they have an extremely high tensile strength, but also they don't slip. When you get the knot there, it's there.
Hemp would also be a little bit softer too on the skin.
And sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want the rough ones.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Any other things, Perry?
I guess I'll add like a fun little tidbit. So sometimes when my partner and I are engaging in sexual conduct, now she doesn't like it when this happens, but I love it because I think it plays into emotional like release. So sometimes I am made to orgasm so hard that I cry, and I mean like sobbing. And it is I feel so good afterward. And like, she hates it. Like, cause she thinks like something's wrong. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm actually more than fine. I'm like, this is great.
Do you know what that's called?
I feel like I used to, and I don't remember.
It's called crimaxing.
Crimaxing.
That's literally what it's called. Crimaxing.
That's amazing. Well, it's my favorite.
It's crying and climaxing at the same time.
It is my favorite type of climax. I get so much gratification out of it, and I think maybe it's because like I don't cry like ever very often, and like when I do, like it's usually like a bad thing or a negative thing. So like when something like this happens, it is such a good and euphoric sort of feeling, and I'm like, oh man, I just feel so good afterward. I don't know. So I like climaxing. That's about it.
Sweet. All right. Let's go over some of the kinks that the furries are into.
The furries.
According to a post of Flay Raw back in 2008, but later edited in 2013, a survey was conducted to determine the most liked and hated fetishes in the kinks in the fandom. This is actually a really interesting list to kind of go over. So they go over like... I don't like that they called it the furry sexuality survey because I feel like sexuality is a different term that shouldn't be used in this particular article, but whatever. I didn't read it. They go over the basics, go over relationships, sexuality, and media. We'll link this in the information. It's really interesting to kind of give it a good read, but there is a part about fetishes, which is really interesting. So it does say that when asked, do you consider yourself to be a fetishist? An astonishing 61.98% that were surveyed considered themselves to be fetishists. So then they asked furries, what were what fetishes were you most keen or interested in? And so this is the list as follows. So it's really interesting. Number 1 at the top is bondage, followed by submission and enslavement.
Yeah,
I like slave play, but I have limits for that. Sex toys, fursuits, leather, spanking. Spanking's hit and miss for me. I have to really be in the mood, and to be in the mood, I mean like once in a blue moon.
Well, to me, that also falls into all of the different impact toys as well.
Yeah.
So.
Uniforms. So for me, military.
You're that entire 21% on your old.
I am that 21 right there. Yeah. Fat furs. I'm not into that. Rubber and latex. Inflation.
But what about Booby Horse? I had to bring her up. I was gonna do it.
Okay, I did say on the last episode that I wouldn't mind being thrusted into Booby Horse's fursuit breasts. I mean, who wouldn't?
It's on the list of things to do before I die.
It's on a bucket list. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Inflation or balloon furs, water sports, and I don't like the way that they phrase this, but I'm gonna say it because. Well, yeah, we'll just say tentacle play because the word that they use after that can trigger, and I'm not going to use a trigger in this episode. Now, interestingly enough, they asked a similar question, but these included things that, well, I guess they asked if there were any other fetishes or furries that we're fond of. These include like paws, cubs, unbirthing. I'm not. It's like vor for the vagina, so it's vorgina basically.
And this is the most badass way I've ever heard the word vagina used.
Like vorgina,
plushies.
But most of these had comparatively small percentages, with some of them only receiving 1 or 2 votes. And on the other side of the wall, the baker's dozen of disliked fetishes. So these are things that are disliked, oddly enough, because there's a couple of things on here that I'm like, how is that possible? So on the very, very top, scat. If you don't know what that is, poop play. There you go.
The brown it's definitely some shit.
Snuff. I don't remember what snuff is.
1 or more person is not making out of it alive.
Oh yeah. Ooh. So it's basically no, that's not what I was looking for.
Lack of better terms, death play.
Oof.
Yeah, okay, yeah, death play. So don't do that.
You only got 1 chance to get it right, and if you fail, you don't get another chance.
Oof.
Pregnancy.
Skip all that because I'm disclaiming never fucking do that.
I get that, like, I could see that as pregnancy not being like a thing, but at the same time, vor and like inflation, and then of course, sitting in the belly, that's kind of like pregnancy in a weird way.
Yeah.
Water sports was oddly disliked. Asphyxiation.
I'm actually shocked water sports is not on the other list.
Now keep in mind, this was surveyed
it is on
2008, there. So that's probably changed.
Wait, no,
then.
It's on both lists.
We're talking like this was done during like the years of MySpace.
Yeah. So. But it is on both lists. It's number 11 on the most liked.
Yeah. Okay, again, fat furs are on this list. Inflation. I don't understand how this one makes asphyxiation.
That was on there.
I don't understand how this one makes it on there, but Sonic. I mean, okay. And Pokemon, Tentacles, Digimon. I find this one shocking. Hyper and micro, because I know for a fact that is a thing in the community.
Yeah.
So, and it goes over other things too. So you can like look at the list and read it. Ones that we came up with. What?
I was just going to say, I'm going to bring up Sonic real quick.
Because... Why?
Okay, no. Listen, so recently, my wife and I, we watched the first Sonic movie. Okay, and now I have not seen it, and she has not seen it. Tell me why I have not been attracted to Jim Carrey whatsoever, ever, until I watched him as Dr. Robotnik and him absolutely abusing his one agent.
It's the mustache. It's the mustache.
I don't know.
Color red and the glasses.
No. He like grabbed his agent by the lower jaw, pulled him in close, and like threatened him. And I was like, "Excuse me, sir." And then later on,
It's the exact same reason why people find Alistair hot, okay?
I don't find Alistair hot though.
Alistair's kind of hot, but I'm more into what's his face, the
Angel
toy.
Dust.
Yes.
I am a massive fan of Has Been and Hell of a Boss. Okay,
I love both of them. Have you seen the new episode, by the way?
Yes, and I'm still emotionally recovering from it.
So emotionally distraught. But anyway, there was another scene in the Sonic movie where he goes like, "Pin yourself against the wall," and he gets real close to his face, and I'm like, oh my god!
Oh.
I'm like, the things I would let that Dr. Robotnik like in specific do to me. Shit. Anyway, continue. Go on.
Yeah.
One of the more popular ones is TF or transformation.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge, and that covers a variety of things. Vor, gore, goo and slime. I'm not big into goo and slime, but I am into mud play. That is fascinating to me.
You want to roll around in the mud space?
No, but I want to watch other people do it.
That really does fall in also into the food play.
I guess it does in a weird way.
It really kind of does.
I saw, oh my God, I don't understand it because I was just thinking in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? But like there were two guys, they were rolling around in the mud doing their thing. And then the guy like puts his mouth over the guy's Johnson because I'm not going to say the words. And it's still muddy. And I'm like, oh, you're putting the mud in your mouth. Oh my God, it's going to get all gritty. You're going to ruin your teeth. And like, these are the things that I'm thinking about like during the scene. All while being like, I really like this. This is kind of hot. So it's weird is what. Femboys, pup play, it's a big thing. Pup hoods, collars, leashes in public. Water showers, aka golden showers that bring gay flowers. ABDL and diaper furs and age play is a really big one. It gets a lot of flack, but honestly, it's really not that bad. I think everyone just kind of like makes mountains out of molehills on that one. So if you're one of those people, if you're one of those people that makes a big deal about nothing, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. It's basically the highest form of submission. It's usually people that just truly want to let go of being an adult. Because adult sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
I mentioned Little Space in my interest.
Little Space is in my interest as well. I won't go further from that because I don't want to. If you want to delve into that further, go for it.
I have my limits in that area. If it like very, very like I don't know how I want to explain it.
I think I put that there, and I think it was because I didn't understand what the whole list was.
What?
The next item on the list.
Oh, kink at fur cons. What you don't do in your hotel. I've heard this story, but I don't know the full story.
I do. Because I've had it corroborated by two different people that were at or involved with that convention.
If you can keep it short and sweet, because we're getting low on time.
It was a convention, not a furry one, and two people went to a panel on rope play and suspension, and decided they wanted to try it in their hotel room, and they used the sprinkler head as a tie point.
It's not. They
were police officers.
Oh my God! Yep. They should know.
Nope. Yep. They used the sprinkler head as a tie point and basically fucked up every room below them.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
And I have had it confirmed by multiple people that were involved with it. So not only have I heard it from Uncle Kage, I've heard it from others.
Okay, look, just because it looks like an anchor point is something you anchor onto. So like you clip onto, you tie onto. If it's not sturdy, it will rip out and do damage. That's just kind of like in general. Okay. So,
yep.
God. People are so dumb. Yeah. Consent negotiations, another one. Contracts as well. Be careful, though, if you're going to go into contract play, really know what you're getting into, because although technically contracts aren't legal in the way that they're used, depending on where you are in the world, sometimes they are actually legally binding. So be really, really, really careful with those.
Yes. And we've already covered the next part, so yeah.
I'm going to go to some emails real quick. I'm just going to read a few. Now, as I mentioned on Twitter, everything about this next session is completely anonymous. I'm going to be referring to the next 3 people as furry X, Y, and Z to keep their anonymity. So furry X says, "Good morning. I'm excited for this kink episode. I wanted to share my personal kinks to contribute. I am into getting pegged." I don't know what that is. Is that where you take a peg leg and you shove it in someone's butt?
No, that's
So usually it's basically anal, but like with a strap on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not as
Yeah.
gay as I am. I don't like butt stuff.
Yeah, pegging is butt stuff.
Let's see. They're also into submissive sex. I wear a collar at all times. One is an eternity collar that I can wear at work, and one is a thick collar for the bedroom. I really enjoy CBT as well. CBT is cock ball torture, if you didn't know. It's on my list, but it's not something I want to participate, but I don't mind watching someone else participate in it.
Yeah.
Hope this helps. Anyways, furry eggs. So thanks for that.
I love that they have an eternity collar. Those are the most adorable things ever. Sorry, I'm a sucker.
No, you're totally fine. I'm gonna have to look up what an eternity collar is.
An eternity collar is generally essentially a metal bar. It's a solid metal ring that where it would close either screws or locks shut to where it cannot be removed without the tool.
Okay, interesting.
They are gorgeous when done.
Ooh, those are cool.
All right, from furry Y, I got to make sure I'm going in order here. X, Y, Z. Okay, I got this. I did go to school. Furry Y says, "So I'm just going to be a little tame here because I'm a little embarrassed to talk about the extreme ones. My main kinks are paws, maws, slime, goo, and vor." Awesome. So, and when I think of paws, I know you're probably tired of me mentioning this. Is that kangaroo? Oh, I don't know. Is it Ruby? Do I send you the kangaroo one?
I've seen the kangaroo.
I think I sent it to Bix. Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. There's a guy. There's a fursuit out there who has like big ass feet. I mean, these things are huge, and people are totally into it.
As they should be.
They say that they're always like, "Come meet me on the con floor and I'll give you steppies," which is basically them just stepping on you. So
that's amazing.
I know. I want to be crushed by those feet. Just they look so amazing. I'm not into feet, but I'm into like fursuit paws, like kind of a thing. So, and then the last one is from Furry Z. They say, "Hello, straight for the muzzle. I have a couple of interests that I don't mind sharing. As far as kinks go, I'm very into bondage and praise with some degradation mixed in." Okay, so just a key note. Some people really do like degradation, but there is a limit to it. So be careful if you're going to go into that particular area. Make sure that you're of sound of mind for it, because if you aren't, it can fuck you up.
And well negotiated.
Yeah, it will fuck you up if you're not prepared for it. Like someone referring to me as both a good girl and good, or my slut. Oh, I kind of like that. The other is not necessarily a kink, but something I found interesting. I'm polyamorous, and just within my local groups and through my friends and partners, I've noticed a lot of other polyfurs. I don't know if this is more common in the community or just where I am, but it is fascinating. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I hope you have a wonderful Pride Month. So I think polygroups are a thing in the community. I don't know much about them, but
I have a close-knit group of friends that are part of a poly relationship, which their relationship as a whole is quite beautiful.
And yeah, that's our emails. That is our talk about fetishes and kinks, both in depth and not in depth. I think that what's most important is that you explore in a safe environment, so that being on your computer or your phone, whatever you want to. Checking out those sites like FetLife and stuff, that'll be a really great way to kind of get your foot in the door, to kind of get an idea of what it is that you may or may not like. That test that you can take is a really good option. Do the research. It doesn't help to just do massive amounts of research and try to figure out what it is that you are and are not into. And just be safe. Just know your safe words. Know the people you trust. And what I mean by trust is when you're talking with someone you're thinking about doing play with, make sure, and this is something that I personally do, I create a dialogue with the person I want to play with first. And once I feel comfortable with them, then I go ahead and I do a meetup. The meetup has to take place in public, and my husband has to be with me. So I know for a fact something's not going to go wrong. Then if I feel like in that particular session, okay, I'm comfortable with it going forward, then what I do is if I do participate in a scene, I would send my husband a Google ping, and it is active for a certain amount of time, and that will be where my phone is. So if for any reason that moves around where it shouldn't be moving around without me telling him, he'll know that something's wrong. Also, a call as well, a safe call being like, if you don't check in by a certain amount of time, call the police. This is where I'm going.
Yeah.
So just be really, really safe out there. Create a dialogue, get to know people. Eventually you'll find what you like. And you know what? Maybe you may not be interested in it. And that's totally fine. Okay.
Yeah. And let me add one more thing with the safety aspect. And this is something that has been said to me by every good play partner I've ever had, is that if you are get into the position when you're in the scene and you safe word, that scene ends.
Yeah.
But it does not mean that you never get to play again. It just means that moment you cannot take anymore. I can guarantee you any top or play partner worth their salt, worth their weight, will be more angry with you if they find out you kept going past your limit than they would ever be of you safe wording out early.
Yeah.
I know personally that if you safe worded within the first few minutes, they'll let you try again. Yeah. I guarantee you, if you went 30 minutes and you needed to safe word after 5 minutes, they will never play with you again, because they need to trust that you're going to know your limits as well. So, that's the big one.
That's actually really important, because this is something you can also look into. See if your local community or your local furry group has a kinky meetup or whatever, or a munch, or maybe even an event that they do. There is one here in Utah. But I went to one, and this one kid's he handed me a riding crop, and he's like, smack me. And I'm like, okay. So I smacked him, and he's like, harder. And I'm like, okay. So I smacked him harder, and he's like, harder. And I'm like, do you understand what you're going through? Because I can really hit you, but it's going to be a bad thing. So I hit him again, and I saw a red mark, and I'm like, I'm not. And he's like, harder. And I'm like, you know what? No. You do not know your limits. And to this point, if I hit you harder any more than I do now, I'm going to break skin, and that's going to be a bad thing. So know when to say your safe word.
Yep.
Without further ado, though, we thank everyone for listening in. Hopefully you learned something new. You learned something about us. That's always fun. And if you guys ever have questions, you can always ask us, and then we can try to respond back as best as we can. And you can find us on Twitter at From the Muzzle. You know where to find us on Telegram, all that jazz. And anything else?
Nope. That's about it. I'm now shopping for new things. So
fun.
I don't think so, other than have a happy, safe, and pride. Yeah, wow. Have a happy, safe pride. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
A fun and happy, safe pride. That is what I meant to say. There we go.
Amen. Just kidding.
Amen.
Let's eat.
Yep.
Okay, everyone. Have a good one, and we'll see you guys on our next episode, which I'm sure will be about something.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.